In realms long forgotten, there are tales of the Forest Kingdom, a place of honour and chivalry, known to some as the Land of the Purple Dragon, but known to all as Cormyr.
Hi, I'm Theoda, and I'm playing Hiram, a half-orc paladin.
Hi, my name's Carl. I'm playing Cassie Donahue, human bard.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I'm playing Badger, a forest gnome monk.
Hi, my name is Anton, and I play Balthazar, a Warforged Cloak of Azuth.
Hi, my name is Elle, and I'm playing Slate, a changeling druid.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Zombo, who is a halfling rogue/warlock.
And my name is Dan. I shall be the Dungeon Master on this adventure. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dan.
Hello.
Hello.
Are we all well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Marvelous. Right. Well, session 11 awaits us. So I think, without any further ado, crack on.
Cool.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Many ponder on the question of nature versus nurture, the extent that someone's view of the world is influenced by those around them. The role of mentor is an important one to many, although it's not always easy to predict the outcome of a mentor's teaching. Some mentors try to guide their pupils in the ways of the world in order to prepare them for the long journey ahead. Some mentors attempt to twist and exploit their pupils for their own gain. Some mentors simply listen and offer advice and friendship where necessary. The pupil always has the ability to decide what to do with these teachings, whether to follow them, ignore them, or adapt them. In time, the pupil will likely find themselves becoming the mentor, and thus the cycle begins anew for a new generation of pupils. It is because of this cycle that someone's mentor may eventually cease to be important in their student's life. Tragically, the mentor may sometimes find themselves diametrically opposed with the pupil. Nature, nurture, the cycle must continue.
Very good.
We find the Warhounds. Illuminated by moonlight and a flickering torch, held by a somewhat burly and bizarrely dressed merchant, flanked by two similarly bizarrely dressed merchants. Above them, on the ramparts of Fort Lymira, is a exasperated looking purple dragon blade, who prior to your arrival was attempting to get the merchants to shove off, despite their persistent knocking on the gates of the ruined keep. The three merchants have now turned to you, the Warhounds, and one of the trio, in a bright green petticoat, a waistcoat, with a red kind of cravat hanging round his neck, has looked at you, Slate, and with wide open eyes has said, "Progenitor." And you have realized that the only people in this world who call you by those names are the three changelings that you once met way back in Hullock Forest. Results of bizarre experiments from a crazy Diurgar woman. Forced to be instigators of a war in Cormyr against the elven nation of Semberholm, freed by your logic, reasoning, and kindness, Slate. What do you...
I really, really wish you would not call me that. It's just not... It's not fitting. Progenitor sounds a bit, mechanic, and I'm... No offense, Balthazar.
Hey.
But, yes, sorry, I didn't mean it that way. But, I'm Slate. Slate. Rolls off the tongue.
The three merchants kind of pull "oh no" faces, and in unison they Slate, and they all smile at you, very toothy smiles.
I'll go up and give them all a kind of... I'll go and give them an embrace, a hug. While I'm doing it, I'll be like, these clothes are interesting choices. I see a lot of color. That's always nice. Good to enjoy different colors. Where did you get them all from? They're quite surprising.
They look to you and they sort of like look down. The burly torch holding one says, "We took your advice to blend in with the people of Cormyr. We passed a caravan of 3 merchants, and after speaking to them, we took their clothes."
In a sort of exchange kind of way of buy the clothes or maybe I shouldn't.
They look at each other and then look at you, and they seem to be confused by this word you just used, exchange. And the more feminine changeling in the shawl, like the head shawl, she looks to you and, "Do not worry, Slate. We did not kill them."
Okay, that's fine. Good news. Well, I've done my job. Why are you standing out here?
They look. The 3 of them look to you, Slate, and then they look up to the purple dragon, who's just watching you talking to these merchants. And like you hear the purple dragon going, "Yeah, that's right. Off you go. Off you go." And the Promise, the changeling in the green jacket, says, We were walking through the forest, and this seemed like a good place to rest. We saw some lights in the darkness, and we are enjoying the hospitality offered to us by the purple dragons.
Okay then. And I'll look up at the purple dragon on the purple dragon
Mhm.
on the rampart and be like, "They're with us. They're cool. Open the door."
The blade looks at you and, "You what? But, and he looks around. We can't let them." And he's sort of looking at you with pleading eyes. You notice that the 3 changelings, like there are bags over, like propped up against the wall of Fort Lymera. They look like camping supplies. You like, and the bags are kind of part open, so you kind of get the impression that, given half the chance, these changelings will just set up camp at the gates.
Okay. Look, they're going to be out here or in here, so they'll draw more attention just outside than they would inside. Maybe we can all come in.
The blade looks you in. She'll have my. Oh, and then he sort of like, you watch as this dragon, like he's muttering something to himself under his breath. He disappears off, kind of. You see him disappear out of sight. Like his voice kind of trails off, and you know the night. The night around you is quite quiet, except for sort of like the kind of woodland creatures. And then, yeah, this kind of awkward silence as the three changelings just stand there. Toothy smiles looking at you. And then you eventually hear the purple dragon's voice, like his grumblings, getting louder again as he approaches the other side of the gate. And you hear the sounds of locks and bars being lifted, and the door slowly, like the gate slowly creaks open a bit. And he sort of like says to you, come on, hurry, hurry, he says, and sort of like waves you in. Put that torch out, he says. And Reverence just kind of wanders past him, ignoring the instruction to put the torch out. And yeah, the three changelings just kind of head in.
Great.
Is that your family?
No, it's kind of, yes, but
They called you progenitor.
yeah, that's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? But I'm Slate, so don't worry about that one. But yes, so basically, way back when we found out that I'm kind of what they're based on. Well, it's an odd one. Basically, I'm the first of them, and they're, well, not really. It's hard to explain, but you know,
I guess
they're
that makes
learning.
sense. That's pretty neat.
And they look up to you.
Yes, which is probably just because of all my skills and knowledge and, you know, experience over the many years I've been around.
I mean, if it weren't for you, they wouldn't even have names.
Oh, yes. Yes, well, they're here now. And I guess we're here now.
Stroke of luck for them.
Yes, they were going down the wrong path, weren't they? We are... But it's nice to have more than one changeling in the world, isn't it? Right, guys?
Yeah.
So as you kind of make your way in, the purple dragon closes the gate behind you, and sort of like he runs up to the stocky changeling, who's, you know, still is a human guise. He runs up to Reverence, grabs the torch from Reverence's hand, said, put it out, he says. And Katja, the only thing lighting the courtyard now is your sword, which is Balthazar. Begging pardon.
Balthazar's staff is on.
Balthazar's staff is on. And they kind of look to you, Balthazar, and do you mind?
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm not sure I know how to turn it off. Give me a minute, and then Balthazar will struggle with this stuff over in the corner.
Okay. So you sort of like kind of waggle it around a bit, and eventually you figure out how to you waggle the staff around. Eventually the staff goes out. In the meantime, one of the dragons lights a very dim torch, which just about lets you see that you can kind of see the immediate area around the purple dragon. And come on, this way, he says. And yeah, he kind of leads you into the courtyard. As you kind of head into the courtyard, you notice that a lot of the campfires are kind of low. They're covered and sheltered, so they're not actually throwing out that much light. So it's clear that the Radiants are trying to keep a low profile. But yeah, you also notice that the soldiers are still relatively well equipped, like they're still kind of in their armors and protections, whereas normally in a a nighttime camp like this, especially when you're at Rager's Reach once upon a time, all the mercenaries there during their downtime would shed their armor so they could relax more. But even during times of rest, these purple dragons are seemingly at high alert. And as the dragon kind of leads you through the camp, you notice that there are a number. You only see purple dragons. You can't see any of the women of the woods that were here previously. You're not really sure where they are. But as you go, you are also followed by the three changelings who just kind of follow behind you. They've just taken it upon themselves to follow you. Yes, hello.
I'm seeing Wrenna's following us as well.
Yes, she is. Yes, sorry. Beg your pardon. Yeah, so there is a moon elf who's kind of walking behind you at the back of the group. And yeah, this war wizard walks through the camp. You hear murmurings from the other purple dragons.
DM.
Hello.
She's disguised as a sellsword.
Well, that's a damn shame. Okay, in which case, yeah, the purple dragons flat out ignore her. As this sellsword, she walks through. And like those of you that can see her in the darkness, like you just see this helmet lolling from side to side, and she just kind of makes occasional little ooh noises as she goes through the camp, and as you kind of get towards the center of the courtyard in front of the large tower that you know kind of stands like the command. The headquarters for this garrison. You see three familiar faces in Agatha and Helena's Fish, mother and daughter, and Axicas, the tiefling wizard. And as the three ladies turn to look at you, there's looks of sort of like. There's smiles that come from the stalwart adventurers, like Helena and Axicas both smile at you. There's more of a look of, I guess it's almost surprise, coming from Agatha. Like she just raises an eyebrow as if to say, she raises an eyebrow, looks at you all, and you made it back then, she says.
Clearly.
Good. Well, you managed to avoid Raedra. She's currently out in the woods, just in case you lot ballsed it up. But I'm assuming that she'll be falling back and heading back to the keep soon. So why don't you make yourselves at home and wait for her to arrive?
Okay.
And
Can I ask
Yes.
where my squire is at the moment?
Your squire is
Raising hell.
Meant to be with Magnus, right?
yes.
Yeah, meant
So-
to be, I think, might be the key word there.
That is what I said.
Yep.
Agatha. And so when you ask about Emily, Agatha looks at you for a moment, and then you see this twinkle in the old woman's eyes, like in the moonlight, as she just she smiles and says, He doesn't do that sort of thing very often, does he, son?
You mean Magnus?
Hmm.
I mean, not this intensively, I suppose, but they know each other.
She just like, I just enjoy watching war wizards struggle that much, she says with a little kind of a little gawf to herself. And yeah, you hear a crashing and a banging coming from the central tower, like the now toppled central tower of the keep, where you know where kind of all the sort of food supplies and the cooking station was, and striding from the doorway comes Emily, clutching what appears to be a whole leg of chicken, and sort of like rushing behind her is Magnus, and he Emma, and he's sort of like rushing after her, trying to like he goes to, like, you see him kind of grab over Emily's right shoulder for the chicken leg, and she moves it to one side. He goes over her left shoulder, she moves it to the other side, and then takes a massive chunk bite out of it. And he just, he breathes, an exasperated sigh, and then he turns and, oh, thank Helm, you're back. He says as he sees you all. And he sort of does that firm hand on the back, guiding a child kind of thing as he walks Emily back over to you. He looks at the group, he looks at you all and says, and muses for a moment. There are more of you than there was when you left.
Yes,
Are
we're
you
doing
sure?
very well.
No, the same amount we had when we left. Are you quite alright, Magnus?
He studies you for a moment, and I get it. You do need quite a few new recruits to replace a war. I get it. I understand.
We replaced you with Zumbo. He more than fills in for you, Magnus. These are just extras, sort of cannon fodder, so to speak. I'm joking.
Are you not? Am I really cannon fodder?
No.
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 Oh.
No, you are the cannon.
Okay, I prefer that.
So, as the three changelings have just kind of stood a little way off from you. The purple dragon blade, having seen kind of Magnus, talking to you, he kind of nods his head at Magnus and kind of disappears off, taking his torch with him. The moon has now come out from behind the clouds it was hiding behind, giving you some form of dim light illumination, so you should be able to see a little easier.
Not see at all.
Can you not?
No.
Okay.
Just don't turn Balthazar staff on.
I know.
There we go.
There you go. Perfect.
That's better.
So, yes, you can now. You should now be able to see. So, Helena. So Agatha's kind of wandered back into the large tower. Magnus is stood there with, like, Emily's kind of wandered over, and Emily wanders up to you, Hiram, and she chews on her chicken leg, and then she looks up to you and, do you want some?
No,
she
you
offers you
finish
this. I will.
that.
And she
Awkwardly pat her on the head.
Magnus kind of steps forward, and he kind of carries that I mean, you all know that Magnus has always been quite uptight and rigid. But he seems like surrounded by all these purple dragons. He seems almost kind of more so than usual. So he steps forward. His 2 feet apart in a power stance, and he has his hands clasped at the small of his back. Given that you're back and you haven't brought half the Cormyrian army with you, I hope everything went well.
Another flawless stealth mission.
Aha. And what did you learn about the Ezered's plans while you were there?
They exist.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but here we know they exist. That's why you went.
They didn't involve a giant shape-changing monster that slaughtered half the guards there. I mean, that didn't happen.
That seems like a very specific thing to say, Katja.
Well, it's a very specific thing to have happened, isn't it?
It was pretty scary.
What do you mean a giant shape-changing beast?
Right, so
like
do you
Slate?
remember? No. Do you remember back when?
Sore subject. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't talk about that anymore. We figured that one out. There was a big rant and everything about it. And I learned my lesson.
Oh.
We had a whole short about that one, Magnus.
So sorry, Hero, you were starting to say something.
Oh yeah. So do you remember a statue in the cave where they tried to sacrifice my family?
Oh yes, the one that looked like it was crafted by toddlers. Yes.
Yeah, that.
You were attacked by a giant statue that looked like it was crafted by toddlers?
Well, it wasn't a statue when it attacked the garrison. It can fly.
It's a flying statue?
It just
Well,
from
you
I
mentioned
didn't.
it can fly.
It could fly at one point, but it was like a lizard at one point, and then it was a bear at another point.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
also invisible at one point?
That's when it was the lizard.
I am just begging you guys to clarify to Magnus it's not a statue. Please
No, but
just
it was-
do that.
I didn't say it's not a statue.
Okay.
It's a lot of black fur with a lot of red on it. I don't know if the red was just its natural colours, or from all the blood from all the people it killed.
Oh yeah, it ate a lot of people.
Killed
Yes,
a lot of
actually,
people.
that is something that we can say was a very helpful way of us getting out of there. And sometimes there are good things that happen from bad experiences.
I'm not sure this was a good thing in any way or shape or form, to be perfectly honest, but it did create a distraction.
Exactly.
So, stealth mission actually accomplished.
Okay.
Where's the board? We need to put that one on the board.
The board.
So he looks at you. So okay. So you. What did you find out?
The monsters are real.
But not all people are monsters.
Not all people are monsters, yes.
Very
also,
good.
I want to point out, it's very, very late. We are all very, very tired. Could we maybe possibly talk about this in the morning? When we are also, able to communicate a bit better.
Yeah, best to wait for Rager to get back anyway, innit?
You can't see it because of his moustache, but you can tell that his top lip is just squidged up in frustration, because you just see it kind of flop up a little bit.
I'll just say to him, "Are you missing the fun times, Magnus?"
He sort of looks to all of you with this look of bewilderment in his eyes, and then he just looks to you, Badger, and you need to get a grip of them, Badger. This was what I left you in charge of, and they're running amok. They're making a mockery of this.
I mean, I've tried. There's no point really with this lot. You know them.
And he, when Her Highness returns, we will speak about it. We cannot wait for the morning. We will find out what you discovered before you go to bed. And that's the end of it, he says. And he sort of like...
Okay, Dad.
He straightens up and almost kind of like goose steps, like struts off into the tower.
I'll turn around at that point and put on like a Magnus face and be like, and that's the end of it.
Oh no, Slate, do the lip things. I'll do my Magnus impression. And that will be the end of it. And then she high fives Slate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zumbo would be leaning into Hiram and going, not making any effort to keep his voice down, and to say, "What a wazzock!"
Wow.
I mean, he's a competent Vosok, so.
I take it he wants exactly the brains of the outfit when he was around.
Funnily enough, he was all the brains of the outfit.
I gotta say, thank you for thinking that we have any other brain cell between all of us. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So, Magnus kind of wanders off. You see the two stalwart adventurers, Hellenis and Axcas. They watch Magnus disappear and like they shake their heads just despondently at this. Self-righteous man as he strides back into his tower, Axcas looks to you all and gestures to the fireplace behind them and says, "We caught a woodland boar this evening. It looks like it's cooking beautifully. If you want to join us."
Yes, please.
Yes, famished.
Cool. So, as you begin making your way over to the campfire,
I'll take Wrenna's hand and lead her over as well.
Okay, cool. The helmet has rotated enough that she can't actually see.
I figured.
I would gesture to the changelings to join us as well.
Okay. In which case, everyone just kind of piles in, and so go on, Anton.
No, go ahead then. I'll jump it up there.
So the stalwarts look to you, and Hellenis fixes an eye on you all specifically. How did it go?
75% successful. Yes, let's say 75%.
She nods to you and sort of like you see her kind of gingerly looking around the camp, like over her shoulders, and ever since Raidra arrived, they've all been on high alert. I think they're expecting something.
Well, there may be a chance that this artifact might be Sharian by nature.
Sharon?
Yes.
And Axacas, sat next to Elenis, just sucks some air through her teeth, and in my experience, that is never a good thing.
No, in our experience, it definitely wasn't a good thing.
So, I'm surprised that they have. I mean, I'm surprised that they have books and literature of Asharan nature, especially in a hunting lodge used by royals. I would have thought that would have been thrown out and burned. How did you find out about it?
Catcher looks around to the group and for help, realizing that she may have said too much, but realizing there's no way up. She's like, for they don't know as such that it is Sharon. They don't really know what the object is. They still haven't found it by the looks of it. We found out through other means that it was Sharon by nature.
So you say that they know where it is?
No, I don't think they do.
Oh, well. Problem solved, I guess, she says. And just kind of starts kicking back and getting, gets her spell book out. And Hellenis frowns. Surely it's not that easy, though.
I mean, it's not that easy.
I mean, presumably... What? I mean, they wouldn't have just... They must have had something.
Badger's looking really uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, Catcher's looking to the groups, trying not to look at Wrenna for any particular thing, but she's looking to everyone else like...
If they had something, it's gone now.
It was quite a bloodbath at the lodge. Yes. Many things went missing.
I reckon they got bigger fish to fry just at the moment.
Absolutely.
And the two stalwart adventurers nod slightly. Slate, you feel a tap on your shoulder, and Joy leans forward and kind of she's trying to whisper. Sorry, they're trying to whisper, but not doing a great job of it. And what is it that you're talking about?
Well, we've tried to find some sort of artifact that will help to prevent or start a war. It's a big old thing with politics, not really worth getting into on that side. However, we found this, well, we didn't find it, we found something like an artifact, and now we're trying to get it. And then there was a bloodbath. That was a big monster came, an actual monster, I think, and that attacked. So, this is kind of why I think it's good for you to be in here right now. You should be really careful in the woods. Extremely careful.
The three of them nod. Promise says, we are very happy that we found you, Slate. We took your advice and were looking for the one you called your mentor, so we could also learn how to become impressive like you.
So maybe let's just put a pin on that one, and let's find another task that's slightly more safe. I think for now, maybe not the best, but you seem to be doing quite a good job. I mean, you're developing your own style and improving your diplomacy skills with many merchants. You're obviously doing a good job. Maybe don't find the mentor right now. Maybe stay away from the mentor.
And they look at you and they kind of nod slowly. That is what the other druids said. And they nod. We should leave Barents alone.
Which druids did you see?
Reverence, stocky one. He looks a bit confused. We assumed that was all of the druids. There were 6 of them, and they said that Barents was the 7th, but he had left and he had nothing good to share with us. He had displaced the circle, and he sits there and like he frowns if he said something wrong, and then Promise puts a hand on Reverence's shoulder and says, "Disgraced, not displaced. Yes, he has disgraced the circle."
Did they say anything else about what he did?
Promise thinks for a moment. They said that he had recently tried to return to the circle, but they turned him away. They said that there was that he had changed and was no longer welcome in the circle. They told us of this place and that we might find people to help us on the next step of our journey.
And so, what do you want your next step to be?
Joy thinks for a moment. It sounds like Barents needs help, so we're doing what you told us to, and we want to help him.
I think this is... I know you've put yourself in trouble before, but I think I do applaud you, and I'm so proud of you for all you're doing, but this could be very dangerous, and you've only just started being able to explore and see and find interests. You don't have to do this.
We want to be more like you, Slate, so we are starting from the beginning and finding the same mentor who taught you.
I mean, I'm not sure it's really the best to be doing it the way I do it. I mean, I do it because that's the only thing I know, but you've got a fresh slate, if you will. You're new. You can do it a different way and maybe a better way, and you...
Perhaps you could be our mentor. We could follow you. They wouldn't even know we were here.
Love that, but it's just I've got quite a lot on at work at the moment, and just quite busy. And you've got so much, you might be interested. Hey, Katya, show them to play some music. Maybe one of them, maybe Joy. You seem quite musical. Maybe Joy, you could get involved in music. And
I don't know about you, Slate, but I'd love to see you teach. I'd love to see you teach them some druid tricks.
Oh,
I'd love to see some as well.
oh, it's not tricks, really, is it? It's kind of, a specialty,
No.
but.
I mean, Saloon is at her brightest tonight. Her tears are out. Her tears are out on display. So great time to do some druid magic.
Yeah, go on, Slate. What Katya said?
Well, I've had a long day with, haven't even got any shaping left.
The three changelings
then
are
I
looking
will-
at you expectantly.
I will cast Pass Without Trace. And
Okay.
Oh, what, just on yourself?
just on myself. I'll go, look over there.
I thought you were just going to do druidcraft or something.
I was just gonna go look over there and say,
Also-
look, I'll write in the sky over there. And then I'll point over there to the sky, and then I'll just do Pass Without Trace.
Can I just say, I love now you cast Pass Without a Trace?
The stealth after we're home from the stealth mission.
Okay, so the three changelings turn and look up at the sky on your instruction.
Balthazar will ask Katya,
Uh-huh.
start up next to her and go, "Hey, what does it smell like?" Looking at the roast boar.
Sorry, what was that?
What does it smell like? Could you describe it for me?
How to describe it in the terms of taste?
Is it more smoky or is it herby?
Yeah, it's definitely very smoky. They've just let the
It smells of like burning fat and meat with a bit of coal.
look at Draw's face right now, and Draw is literally, his tongue is lolling. It's like, that's how delicious it is. Like,
And with like a slight like citrusy note from the apples.
yeah, I can imagine the apple he shoved in its mouth does add a bit more of I'm more of a sort of a wordsmith when it comes to sorts of places and things rather than food. My diet wasn't exactly the most amazing back in the troop, so stuff like this is a bit of a delicacy.
I was just interested to see what it smelled like, because obviously I can't.
Smoky, I would say the best way. Smoky, and I mean, it's probably one of the best smells there is. Like roasting pig. So
looks nice.
Balthazar?
Yeah?
Balthazar, if you don't smell anything, then what frame of reference do you have for Katya's description?
What Badger said.
I don't know. I haven't really.
Where does your knowledge of all smells come from? Did you read about it?
No. That's a good question. My memory's a bit hazy, but
it is.
I guess. How do you know how something smells like? I feel like I know what it smells like, but maybe what I'm smelling can be different to what you're smelling. But I feel like I remember what it tastes like.
Oh, well, that's very interesting. That would imply there was a time when you could taste.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Oh,
I guess I'll have to think about it.
A lot of questions, actually.
Maybe you could associate taste with colors. I once had some bark that tasted green, and then red, and then purple, and then a whole rainbow.
That might be it.
That might have been a very special type of bark.
Mine was some frogs crawling across it first.
Balthazar, as you like the idea of tasting color or seeing taste, I guess, like you start as you look at the fireplace, you can hear it crackling, you can hear kind of the fat, pipping off the boar's hide and whatnot onto the flames. It's almost like the world starts to darken on the edges. And like as Badger and Katya and Slate kind of sit there trying to explain different ways of figuring out what it smells like, you feel like you can hear this. You look at Katja because you can hear this kind of musical tune begin to play, like a musical melody. But you notice it's not like a melody you've ever heard Katja playing. It's a bit more. It's a bit more familiar. It's a bit more homely. And then when you realise Katja's not playing, you then start to get a bit confused because you can hear like laughter and cheering and frolicking is the best way to describe it. And as you look back at the fire, you can see silhouettes of diminutive humanoid shapes, small humanoid shapes, and they appear to be laughing and clapping and dancing and sort of like just celebrating around this campfire with one another. And one of them stops and steps forward and is ever so slightly illuminated. That you just see this happy, rosy-cheeked face look at you, illuminated by the fire, and he says, "Come on, Balthazar, are you joining us?" he says. And as a figure turns and walks away, you notice that the halfling's not wearing any shoes as he goes back off to dance with the other halflings again.
Balthazar will snap out of it and go, yeah, I guess I don't know why I know how things smell.
As you say that, you look back at the boar cooking on the spit in front of you, and even though you can't take in a breath, you realise you know what it smells like.
What's yummy?
But as you look back up, you don't see any small dancing people anymore.
See Zumbo.
Yeah, he's taken the knife out of his hand. He's busy carving a chunk of the said pig off.
Okay.
Katja's holding on to Drool by the collar, who's getting closer and closer. And at that point, she turns to Slate and says, "Slate, did you mention you had a new collar for Drool? Because I don't know this one's going to last much longer, and I'd like us all to have a piece of boar before Drool gets it."
Oh, I'll help with that.
Come
on, Drool.
Drool's focused on the boar, like pulling against it. You know that thing dogs do when they really pull on their collars, and they're like,
So are you handing over the collar?
I'll be like, "Oh yeah, but I mean, kind of to think of it now, it does look quite cool on me, doesn't it?" And put it on just, unpass without trace, obviously. And then I'll go, "Oh, just kidding. Here you go." And then I'll be like,
Sorry, after you, El.
I'll be like, "Do you want to give it to Drew, or?"
I'm gonna hold him with Balthazar's help. Do you want to take his old collar off and put the new one on?
Sure.
Balthazar, can you just hold his hindquarters? I'm gonna hold on to his chest.
Oh, sure.
Really starting to pull now.
It's a bit unwieldy, but come on, Drew.
Okay. So as you wrestle this dog down, who's just trying to get a leg of boar.
Just because I can, I feel like I've got more spells than I should have, but hey ho, let's go for it. Gonna cast Speak with Animals.
Aww.
Okay, so as you cast Speak with Animals, is that something that happens straight away?
Yes. So wait, no, 10 minutes.
If you're casting it
It's
as
casting time's an action if you're using a spell slot, and then it lasts 10.
Perfect.
Ah,
Okay.
that's fine.
So in which case, as you, Katja, Balthazar, and Slate, as you will wrestle with Drool to try and stop him, just tucking him first to this flank of meat. Slate, as you, Slate, from your perception, you just hear, gimme, yum, 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 give me, I showed you some, please.
Hey, Drew. Drew, Oh, does
And-
smell good, doesn't it?
You know those videos where the owners bark at their dogs, and the dog just and Drawl just like gets his face right up to you. And he growls for a moment.
Who is the best boy? Who is the goodest of good boys?
There is no best boy, only Drawl.
Katya, Lazar,
very good.
Drawl's just kind of gone into this tits, right? This tiz. He, like, his ears have gone down. He's kind of, for all intents and purposes, he's got the doggy equivalent of one eyebrow raised. Again, his tail's curves right under his undercarriage. And, like, if you basically, when you ask who's a good boy, Drawl just looks around for a moment and then looks at you with kind of puppy dog eyes. Me?
It is you! You've done so well because you've been doing such a good job with everything, and we all got you a present, and it's not the boar, it is this shiny new collar.
He, and like stops, like his tail's going, and then when you said it's not the boy, and then you managed to click the Katya. At that point, you managed to click the collar around his neck, and like looking at the collar, it's a sturdy kind of dark leather dog's collar. You notice that there's almost like a, I want to say almost like a brooch or a decoration on the front of it, that looks like a triangle. It's a triangle shaped with two kind of, it almost looks like horns coming off the side. As you click on the collar, and Slate says, "It's not the boy, it's a collar." Drawl just like 180s in from happiness to anger, and then just jumps at you, Slate. And as he jumps at you, everyone watches as Drawl is suddenly encased in what looks like a translucent bull. The front half of a translucent bull. And Slate, there's a moment where you, oh no, like that split second before impact, and as Drawl hits you, you are flung back 10 feet, arse over tit. You do a full flip, and kind of land in a crumple on the side of one of the tents. And Drawl just like bashes into you, looks a bit confused as everyone like makes a noise. He panics and just bites the leg of the boar, rips it off, and then goes running off with this kind of ghostly bull wrapped around his front half, and he just shoots off into the distance.
From the ground, I'll go, oh, I probably should have checked what that was before we put it on him.
Cash slowly stands up, looks at like the devastation, is like, well, that was different.
Where'd you get the color from?
I found it in the same cupboard that I, forward.
Oh.
Oh.
Off in the distance, you hear, wait, what? As and just barking as Drawl goes on a rampage through the camp.
Was that Magnus?
In fact, yes.
You sleep well tonight.
You know what? Drawl has bolted for shelter, so has actually run into the headquarter tower. And yeah, you hear Magnus go, "Wait, Drawl!" And you just hear boxes breaking, like shouts and panicked noises coming from the main tower. After a few minutes, you hear the crashing, the banging, the cat screeching, and then George, boom, he's up on the ramparts now, with this leg of boar in his chops.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Idea.
So, Catcher, you've just watched your dog destroy half the camp. What's everyone doing?
Badger's quite keen to talk just to the Warhounds. So I guess she might ask Axakas and Helenus if they could have a minute.
Team meeting.
Team meeting, exactly.
Go inside.
Might also subtly suggest that the changelings kind of, make themselves scarce for a little while.
Yeah, I'll kind of go. Listen, this business. We kind of had to have a chat, but you are merchanting right now, right? Maybe this is the perfect place to go and trade your wares with some of the local folk. Make yourself friends. Don't get on anyone's nerves right away. It's
The changelings look at one another and we won't. And they get up and they disappear off into the camp. Were you shooing away Axakas and Helenus as well? Sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Well, in which case, the two stalwart adventurers, knowing that you're about to have a team huddle, they excuse themselves to a tent, and they disappear from the conversation. Wrenna still sat there in her Telsword uniform. She begins to get up.
Wrenna, don't go. This involves you.
And she, oh yay, she says, and she sits back down next to Balthazar.
Listen, guys. Rager's going to be back soon, and we really need to think about how we approach this. The current plan of pretending that Wrenna's just a random Telsword we picked up and that we didn't find the information, it doesn't sit well with me at all. Because that lie is going to unravel on us pretty quickly, given we don't even have the information from Wrenna yet on where the object is. We're going to need to either move her or be honest about who she is. And we really need to start deciding who we can trust here. What do you all think?
I mean, have we got any realistic way of working out what she's on about from what she said, or are we going to need help? I mean,
Katya?
Magnus there, is he?
Her memory, if we can even call it a memory, her vision possibly is of as I described, a complex built up of these faces and a big Sharan banner. And as time went on, there was that almighty howl, and then all the statue's eyes turned yellow and started looking at us. But there's nothing concrete about that. I don't know any of the locations. All I know is there's a Sharan temple in Suzail.
That word, Katya, Sharan, obviously I know what that means, but, just in case there's anyone else in the group who's less well-read, maybe you ought to explain that.
Shah is the goddess of darkness, from what I can tell. And she points up at the moon with all the asteroids behind it. She's the mortal enemy of the Lady of the Moon, Saloon. She's basically the goddess of all things dark.
She's the worst.
So, Cormyrians would know that Shah is considered Sharan worship outright illegal in Cormyr because of all of the shenanigans that she and her worshippers have pulled in Cormyr over the years. And as Katja said, she is effectively like the sister of Saloon, the goddess of the moon, and sort of the parent of Mistra, the goddess of magic.
Wow.
Like between Shah and Saloon, they created Mistra. But yeah, Shah has tried. Shah. Part of the reason why Sharan worship was illegal in Cormyr was because she was the patron deity of the Netheril to the north, and the War of Shadow 10 years ago was part of a ploy by Shah to steal the Mythal and supplant Mistra as the goddess of magic. Fortunately, thanks to the Cormyrian and Elven alliance, the Netherese failed. Although the Elven capital, Mithranor, was destroyed at the very tail end of that war.
Yep, good explanation. Katya couldn't have said it better myself.
You're quite welcome. She's part of many tales in Cormyr.
Knowing that the artifact's Sharon, you're right, Katya, it's just not enough to go on yet, is it? It's as if you need to go back in, if possible, whenever you get a chance, and just hope that there's more to see.
I mean, I could try again, but I worry it's... Again, this skill's so new. I don't know if it's a limitation of my own abilities or what Wrenna knows. This
I
may
understand.
be all that she knows.
It
I
could be.
can try again and see.
Mm.
She looks to you and smiles and did you want to walk in my dreams again, Katya?
If you'd let me, then I will try.
And her head tilts, and a moment later the helmet boom slides to her head. She takes the Telsword's helmet off, and she's got that same kind of vacant smile on her face as she looks at you. And would you like to try now?
And Katya looks to the rest of the group for confirmation. Shall we? In that case, Wrenna, give me your hands.
She smiles and holds out her kind of frail, small, pale-skinned hand.
Katya sort of starts thinking to herself, I want to read your thoughts. And as she slowly starts to open her eyes, she looks into Wrenna's and she keeps repeating in her head, I want to read your thoughts. And her eyes start to glow as she casts Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
Imagine it's a much longer process. Imagine there's a lot of a long period goes past before it just kicks in. She's nowhere near an expert yet.
Catcher.
Mm-hmm.
The DC save at the bottom of your Detect Thoughts blurb. I need Katya to click that for me, please.
Clicking.
Getting some cat ASMR.
Nothing is happening as I click it.
Okay, hang on, I can do it for you.
Thank you.
Okay. You close your eyes as Wrenna closes hers. And for everyone else, whilst Katya has this look of kind of concentration, you can see her eyes squished together, almost as she's wincing as she tries to focus on what she's doing. Wrenna just sits there looking kind of serene, and her eyes are gently closed. There's that faint smile on her face. Katya, you have that same kind of falling sensation that you had before. And you find yourself on a road that slopes down, and in the distance you can see a large river that runs behind this. It looks like a town with high walls. And as you turn to look, you see Wrenna standing next to you, and she's just staring at this town. And you watch as you look along the ramparts of this walled town, you can see fluttering black banners displaying the purple ring of Shah. And then what seems to be a darkness spreading out of it. And then you realise that your feet can't move. And as the darkness gets closer and closer, you notice that Wrenna starts to look more and more panicked. And everyone else, you can see that the smile on Wrenna's face in the real world is starting to transform into one of fear. And Katja, as you try to turn and leave, you've got that kind of sleep lethargy where you can't move as the darkness encroaches closer and closer. And then from behind you steps this large, broad-shouldered figure, like a silhouette. He almost kind of materializes through you, and the darkness stops in front of him and begins to fade away. The figure turns around and looks at you, and you find yourself face to face with Ezered Oberskir.
Oh.
But you realise he's not looking at you, but through you. And you hear him shout, "Soldiers! Today, we free Walloon from the darkness!" And you hear cheers of an army of purple dragons behind him. Roar! And you watch as Ezered and his battalion of purple dragons descend down the hill to free Walloon. You watch as Wrenna seems to be swaying and staggering slightly, and the image fades to black. And you hear a sobbing. And as the sobbing gets louder and louder, you find yourself looking at what appears to be almost like a ruined castle. It's a small mountainside castle. And looking around, the keep is surrounded with bodies of the slain. And the sobbing seems to be coming from inside the building. And the sobbing slowly becomes a wail. And then slowly becomes a roar of anger. And multiple voices join the roar, and until it becomes this grotesque chorus. And as you look down, you can see the dead eyes of the corpses around you looking up at you. And Wrenna is on her knees, tears streaming down her face as she screams into the darkness to try and make it stop. And Katja, in your head you hear, "We will find you from the shadow we come, for this world is ours."
Imagine at that moment, Katja lets go of Wrenna's hand, audibly gasps as then her nose starts gushing with blood.
Katja, as you open your eyes, you see that Wrenna is passed out on the floor next to you.
Balthazar will grab her up.
Okay. She is utterly unconscious.
Yeah, I think Zombo would drop his ball and run over to her as well.
Okay.
If there's anything that's kind of like good for that, any kind of like herbs or anything that are good for an unconscious person to help, either relax or to wake them up or anything, whatever is needed, Slate will go over there to just try and be there to help.
Okay. In which case, Zombo, Balthazar, and Slate, as you begin helping Wrenna, Catcher, you suffer. You rolled a 10. 2 levels of exhaustion.
Shit.
Ouch.
Oh boy!
Wow.
Badger's gonna go over to Katya and sort of check how she is.
Okay. And yeah, Catcher, apart from like you feel utter, like emotionally, physically, mentally drained. But yeah, what do you do as Badger heads over?
She sort of grabs Badger by the shoulders, like, Wayloon.
Wayloon?
I saw Ezerad heading towards Wayloon. No, liberating Wayloon.
I've heard that place before. What's Wayloon?
A city, I believe. It's I don't know. I know the name, but I don't know where it is.
DM Dan, can we do history checks to see if our characters remember what Wayloon is?
Well, first I saw Anton put the out of character hat on.
No, that's. I think you know what we're.
Okay.
What I was gonna say.
Absolutely.
So as you say that, you hear a voice ring out. Used to be a lovely place. And Magnus wanders over.
You
have your team huddle and didn't invite me. Terribly rude.
You know Wayloon?
Well, of course I know Wayloon. I grew up there.
That's what it is. That's how we know it. What happened there?
Well,
Mr. Cobblestone.
Catcher, you've got a bit of a nosebleed there. Just that out. You'll stain your clothes. And yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Magnus sits down with you. Sort of as you see him sit down with you, you notice that there's a bit of a commotion off on the other side of the courtyard. As from like coming into the courtyard, you see Raedra surrounded by some purple dragons, and a entourage of women of the woods. And as you kind of look up and see her, she's striding across the courtyard with this, it's got that same sense of kind of royal purpose that she's always kind of carried. For a moment, you see her head kind of turn to look at you lot. She kind of sees you all sat around the campfire. She spies Magnus, and then you see her just kind of march into the central tower. And yeah, like she doesn't even kind of acknowledge you in that sense. She just kind of walks straight in. Yeah, he plonks him. Magnus has sat down with you, and it's good to see she's fine. Sorry. What were you saying, Badger?
Wayloon. What happened there?
Well, I mean, I was born there. Probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Wayloon. Then they got themselves into a bit of trouble. But
what kind of trouble?
Well, Sharan worship, primarily.
Okay. And now?
Well, they got better.
Okay. How?
Well, I don't like to give him all of the credit, but His Royal Highness liberated the city of Wayloon during the War of Shadows.
Right.
Some people are thankful for him. That's probably why he has so much support, because they see him as they don't see him as a ruthless and maniacal tyrant. But I managed to get out just before the king at the time, way back when I was a young boy, before they put the barriers up and the magical shield around the city and locked everyone in.
Oh.
Well, I mean, they were worshipping Shah, weren't they? So kind of their own fault.
But not everyone, surely. What about your family?
Well, I mean, of course not everyone. No, but I mean, any upstanding Cormyrian should know to call out if they worship if they find out that there's a Sharon cult about, and if it's citywide, then surely everyone knew. But I suppose they got what was coming for them.
And all traces of Sharon worship are gone from Walloon. There's no chance anything was left behind. No secret temples, nothing.
Well, when the shield came down, I did go and visit. My parents didn't get out, you see, so but no, they seemed fine. It seemed fine. They had it under control.
You did go into a Sharon temple with us in Cezale, and as far as the legends go, we cleaned up Cezale.
Yes, well, I mean, Suzale is significantly bigger than Walloon, isn't it? So it's much harder to root out these kind of pockets of resistance. I mean, I don't understand why you're talking about Shah so much. I mean, it's not even like she's a very powerful or important god at all.
Can I insight Magnus right now to try and figure out what is the sort of undertone of this outburst he's having? Like, is he angry? Is he scared?
Sure, roll me an insight.
Okay.
In fact, we can go one better, and I can... Boom.
Thank you. It's a 9. It's not very good.
Clearly, Magnus is agitated.
Yeah.
Is anyone else interested in...
Yeah, Zombo is watching Magnus like a hawk.
Sure,
Okay.
Catch is looking at him, so...
Yeah, Hiram, do you want in on this?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Balthazar?
Sure, he's a funny war wizard.
Yeah, yeah. Hiram, you get advantage.
Oh, nice.
Because you know...
Oh my gosh.
Oh, but I think Balthazar got this.
Balthazar has knocked it out of the park with a 23.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cat, you're
Natural
19
20,
as
not
well.
just 23, natural 20.
Yeah.
So...
Balthazar sees right through this war
Yes.
wizard. He's like, he's so afraid. Just
So-
go up and cuddle him.
So, yeah, Zumbo, Hiram, like, it's clear that something's up, right? But you can't quite kind of put it together. Katya, you remember that when you were in the Sharon Temple, Magnus was being real sketchy, and he just didn't want to be down there. There was a point where he even suggested that you lot go without him, and he would just keep a lookout. His relationship with Shah seems very poor. Balthazar, you know, like what you know as an archivist is that the Shah, the extent of Shah and cult worship within Walloon was so great that it was just decided that rather than try to stamp it out, they were just gonna literally put a magic force field around this town and just lock them in, and then just they could sort themselves out. and obviously there was a lot of anger. Well, the country was split. There was a lot of anger, but also they clearly all worship Shah. So a lot of innocent people were trapped on the wrong side of the shield when it went up, and it was up for about 25 years.
Magnus.
Yes. Sorry, I was waiting for Anton to reply.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was also going. Wait, me?
Were you born under the shield?
No. The shield went up when I was about 5 or 6. But I mean, like I say, why are you asking? It doesn't. It's of no relevance to anything that we're doing right now.
Can I, even in my tired state, can I just have a peek at his surface level thoughts?
Yeah.
By casting my last.
Or is it only a minute since your last detect thoughts? In which case you could use the same one.
I guess I could spend in time, Dan.
It's up to Dan.
Okay, off the back of your last detect thoughts, because this outburst would have been relatively quick, but it would be the end of it. So it's just like the emotion of it, isn't it?
It's surface level thoughts.
Yeah. Just the sort of basic stuff that they are thinking about at the top of their mind.
So inside Magnus's head, there's just like internalized screaming, swearing. It's like abject anger, mixed with fear, concern, and confusion. Because he's genuinely wondering why you've suddenly brought up Walloon all of a sudden, and he stops as the thoughts that you're reading, as the spell finishes. He looks at you, looks at you all, and is it in Walloon?
Maybe it is, yes, but we don't know yet.
And we think it's Sharon, so.
But
Magnus, if we're going to get hold of this object on behalf of Raedra, can you promise us that she's not going to use it? Because nothing good can come of an object like that.
The look on his face, you've seen it once before, and it's that same grim, stoic, slightly horrified look that he had on his face after you killed Garabrail and he was watching Hiram cradling Emily in his arms. And he's wearing the same face now as you say that you think it might be Shara and you think it might be Walloon. And Magnus lets out a deep sigh. And for the first time the first time that you've noticed it, you see that he's fidgeting. His hand, he's kind of playing with his thumbs and fingers as he just kind of looks at the fire in front of him. I signed up to the War Wizards for one reason, and one reason only. And that was to fight for Cormyr. Do everything I could to ensure Cormyr's safety. And I know that Rhaedra's intentions are true. Because I see her look at the world with the same eyes that I do. All she wants to do is protect this country, this nation. I solemnly believe that. And if I didn't, I wouldn't have left the Warhounds if I didn't believe in her integrity. And maybe it's the Helm, the worship of Helm, that colours my perception of it all. Maybe just this burning desire to keep everyone and everything safe. Maybe that's it. Maybe. But I see that fire in her eyes. And it's a fire. I left the War Wizards because none of them had that passion. It was all bureaucracy and politics, and no one actually doing anything of anything. And that's... I realised that I couldn't do what I wanted to do, needed to do, if I was part of the War Wizards. That's why I left them and became a mercenary. Joined the Warhounds. Fought alongside all of you. Except you. And you.
That's okay.
Yeah, your loss.
Not the War Wizards. They were supposed to be the premier defense in the premier defense of Cormyr, but even they were corrupt and rotten. And how is anyone supposed to defend their country in an organization like that? Everything that's happened, everything that Rhaedra's been doing, it's a reaction. It's a reaction to the schemes of Ezered. A man, he's been after that throne for decades. And for a man with that amount of power, lust, and hunger to watch the throne slide down the other side of the family tree, he should have never been on the throne. Realistically, Rhaedra should have never been on the throne, but at least when, unlike her brother, when she got the throne, she kept it. She fought for it. And yes, she may have entertained the idea of going to war with Semberholm. But what was the alternative? She's one of the truest soldiers the Cormyr has. What else was she going to do? I think she's the right person to follow. So I'll follow her.
Is there going to be an answer to Badger's question somewhere in here, or...?
Well, do I believe that Rhaedra's right?
Oh no, are you going to let Rhaedra use the artifact? It's a yes or no question, Magnus.
He thinks about it. I mean, we don't even know what it does.
Magnus, it's a yes or no question.
Maybe, Iram, if you use smaller words, he'll be able to get it.
No, he gets it. He's a very intelligent guy.
Magnus, it's a Sharn artifact. Possibly. This is... Just remember that.
You said it yourself, like Cormyr has a history with Shar and wants to do everything to stamp it out. I would think that Rhaedra would hopefully want to destroy it.
Rhaedra, I don't think I'll even be in a position where I have to act on that question, Hiram. Rhaedra stood on the walls of Susail and beat back the armies of Netheril. She slew the Purple Dragon Reborn. The last thing she would ever want to do is use such a tainted artifact. But the fact that Ezered is searching for it, and she is doing all she can to stop him, I think that speaks volumes.
It does,
no.
but I don't think it speaks the words you think it does. Listen, man, you are not part of the Warhounds anymore. You don't owe us anything. You don't need to tiptoe around this question. Say that you will let her use it. It's not going to change anything. We will just know.
If using it ensures the safety of Cormyr, maybe we should.
Sorry. Again, it's a Sharon artifact.
Well, I'm sure that if you go back far enough, everything's a Sharon artifact, really. But
Right, I think I need to rest a bit, guys. It's been a long day. Emily here, I'm sure, is very tired.
I guess technically Mr. is a Sharon artifact, if we really think about it.
I like him. He speaks facts. Magnus kind of lets out another sigh. He stands up, and despite what everyone says about her, don't get me wrong, she is quite upset that she lost the throne. Quite upset. But she's also appreciates the freedom that it gives her. I suppose in the same way that once I left the War Wizards, I was able to do what I needed to do on my own terms. I think she's found that same luxury, and that's why I have so much time for her. She doesn't want the throne. She doesn't want to be leader again. All she wants is to make sure that whoever is in charge does a good job.
Right. Nice to know. See you in the morning, Magnus.
And he purses his lips and evening all. And Magnus disappears off.
Katja sort of she wobbles onto her feet like, unpopular opinion. But does anyone else get the feeling that Magnus used to be a Sharon?
Now, Katya, it wasn't that long ago you were making accusations about Slate, and that didn't go down too well, so maybe we just keep that.
I've got a theory as well. Does anyone think that Magnus and Raedra
100%.
Yeah, no, that's not even
not even in question.
He has a lot of time for her. We all know what that means. Yeah.
Very attentive.
Yeah.
Listen, guys. We dethroned Raedra in order to do the best thing for the country, right?
Yes.
And if despite all of that, Raedra is still working for the good of the country, and she doesn't even want her throne back for it. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm in. I'm in with Raedra right now. I think she's the best hope we've got of seeing the country right at the moment.
I think that sometimes people might want to do the right thing for the country, but don't necessarily know what the right thing is. They've got an idea of what the right thing is, and that maybe sometimes it's best that they're not. Yes, that they're given the chance to do what they can to help, but maybe that they're not given more power to help, because maybe what they're doing might not be
But that's why we're here, you see. We have an opportunity to steer her in better directions. The fact is, she's taken us into her confidence by agreeing to let us look for this artifact. I just think we'll be in a much stronger position if we can be honest with her. But I'm not the only one who gets to make this decision. We're a team. So what do you all think?
Do I get a vote?
Of course you do, Balthazar. You're in the team.
I'm in the
Yeah,
team.
lifeboats get votes too.
Well, thanks, Dumbo. Yeah, I'm in. I'll vote.
Okay.
Don't know the other guy. It doesn't seem very nice.
Nah, how upset would you lot be if at some point I had to punch him? Just in case it became necessary.
Magnus?
Yeah, just in case that.
I mean, we've all wanted to punch Magnus at some point.
That's
Can you
good.
reach
All right
him?
then. Well,
Oh!
Doesn't need to be in the face.
Yeah.
can ask him to bend down.
I mean, he probably will.
I reckon Badger's right. We need Rager for now to get to this artifact, probably. But I don't reckon anyone should have something like that. I mean, I certainly wouldn't want my freedom taken from me, and I don't reckon anyone else should have their choices taken either.
Agreed.
I guess we got no choice but to trust her for now. We might need to help get into... What was that place called again?
Walloon.
Yeah, that's the one.
Just as an aside, Katya, the second place that you saw was a different place. Just clarifying that.
Yeah, I'd even get round to that bit before Magnus butted in.
We're all going to Walloon then. Just face it, alright? You have to create a whole new side quest for us.
I mean, thanks for reminding me, but yeah, Magnus did butt in before Katya had a chance to finish. Imagine she sort of looks over and she's like, I mean, it might not be in Walloon. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to finish talking before Magnus decided to, shove his nose in our conversation, but,
Which I have to say, I have never heard him talk this much in one go.
True.
Yeah, sorry, Katya.
I had a vision of correct me if I go wrong here, Dan, but some form of temple?
It was like a ruined... It was a ruined keep.
Yeah,
Similar-ish to this one, but bigger.
Yeah. There's a ruined keep
Sorry.
with bodies everywhere.
Ooh.
I mean, I saw Walloon first, and then the vision changed to this keep. And I think that's where the artifact may actually be. So if we want, we could always send Rager on a wild goose chase while we go hunting for the artifact.
Or we could practice trusting somebody for once and actually maybe use her knowledge of the keeps of Cormyr to try and figure out which one that was you saw.
That's a good idea.
Last time, did we establish that there might be a fort that we knew was in the area?
Well, we know there's the...
I think it was a cave.
Okay.
We know there's the fort where we had the wild hunt in.
Wasn't that one?
No, it wasn't that one.
Okay.
No, I mean, I feel like, did I do a check? Did the check? No, I can't remember.
So when Katya went into the first dream, you didn't know what you were looking at, but you remembered the Sharon connection.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Never mind.
How long would it take us to get to Walloon? Not used to slogging around on foot. It's exhausting.
Several days.
So, if I could have, let's 1, 2, 3, 4. Take Wrenna out. Who have I forgotten? I've forgotten Zumbo.
That's way far.
I've also just realised I'm going to be doing all my ability checks until the next long rest with disadvantage.
Badger reckons it's just down the road with a 4.
14.
19.
Got 15.
Okay. So you reckon, Hiram, you're the one who thinks that. So if you were to like walk, you would basically go back to Mouth of Gargoyles. You follow the road all the way to Immisy, then you go south, and then you flexing your big brain, you then go all the way along the way of the Manticore, all the way along to Walloon. I'm too far zoomed out, so I can't actually see what that was. It's a way.
Okay.
It's almost the same as Suzette to Arbel, so it'd be about like 4 or 5 days. 5 days.
Oh wow. Okay.
When Hiram says
Unless we can get a boat from Immisy and
126 miles.
Oh boy.
Oh, boat.
Ish.
when
Boat.
Hiram explains
Boat is a
that,
great idea.
Or
yeah,
boat.
we can get Zumbo to sell it for us.
Can
Yeah.
finally be a crew.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
How long would that
be
take,
great.
Dan?
So it's basically about 40-ish miles to Immisy, and then you could charter a boat from around the Witham Water down the Witham Flow to Walloon, because it's basically pretty much a river town.
when we're talking about this, Slate will say, and it does get us out of the way of Baz, who could be a bit of a danger.
I feel like we should deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a rampaging beast looking for, I assume, you? We probably should not leave him unattended.
Why don't we, deal with that first?
Mm-hmm.
Dimdan,
Yes.
are we meeting with Raja tonight, or has that been cancelled?
Raedra. Well, Magnus. Did you want to talk to Raedra because Magnus just came over because she was back?
No, probably not. So
Okay.
we can all
In which case,
retire.
Raedra's gone. Yeah, Raedra's gone to the tower.
Cool. Maybe we retire and figure out what we do in the morning.
Yeah.
I say we get an early night, an early morning, and we leave before Raedra even wakes up.
I just want to quickly round off that Katya and Hiram didn't vote.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Slate did really.
That's my vote.
So Hiram, what's Hiram? Tilda, what's Hiram thinking?
Hiram is thinking that there is really not much of a choice here. We brought back Wrenna here. Magnus has a good idea. Magnus knows that we know a lot. Magnus has figured out a couple of things himself. At this point, we are in a corner. I mean, Hiram does not trust Raedra as far as he can throw her. And he thinks that the whole I don't want a throne is lip service, seeing how she has no idea who else can go on the throne apart from herself if she wins. But it's what it is. We came back here, Wrenna is here, we can't abandon her. We have no choice.
Okay. Katya?
Patches on the, Magnus was acting sus. She doesn't, again, trust Rager anyway. I think she might actually be siding with Slate on this one. Get out of Dodge. Take Wrenna and get out of Dodge early in the morning.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, she's also seen some horrific shit tonight, so, she doesn't want that shit in the wrong hands.
Fair enough. Okie dokie. So, is there any other business that you want to address before turning in for the night?
Yes, if someone can take greater restoration before they go to sleep, when they wake up in the morning, I will happily lose 100 gold pieces to get rid of all my exhaustion. Thank you.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, damn.
I think the only person who could do that, unfortunately, is you, because I think it's a druid spell.
I haven't got it prepared.
We're about to have a long rest.
But
It's a waste of 5th level spell slot, but otherwise everything I do is at disadvantage.
Do you have 5th levels?
I don't have 5th levels, and also
Oh shit!
prepare in the morning. Sorry,
I'm
I'm
sure
being
surely there's a cleric in the camp. Just go find one of them, pay them.
a high level cleric.
Be Mr. Fresh Recruit Cleric.
You're right.
Yeah.
Next level.
Okay, I guess I could try.
Never done this before, but I'm sure it'll work.
Well, if you have
I'll
the
just
long
spitball
rest,
it.
I only gets rid of 1. You gave me 2.
yeah. So you'll have disadvantage on your
all
ability checks.
which include
Yeah.
my skill checks and everything.
Well, it's just skill checks.
No, the ability, it's all ability checks.
Yeah. But like attack rolls and whatnot. will be
Yeah,
fine.
definitely. Let's face it, I don't attack
Catchy
much.
doesn't.
Yeah, I use
but your-
abilities. That's
Your spells will be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we? Sorry. Yes.
I would, before going to sleep, go back to Joy Revenant's patience. Patience? Yes.
Yeah.
And
Promise.
just
Promise.
promise. Whoops. Yeah, that's why not going to look after them.
By not knowing your own kids' names, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be like, patience. Promise. How's it going, buddy?
When kids, you get the names mocked up. My mum calls me my brother's name all the time.
But I'll go to them and just say the druids, the circle of druids. Where were they last? I can imagine that I'd probably know who they are.
They all point north. They're pointing north. You have a feeling that it's an area it's like a druid home known as the Black Oaks, which is where it's almost like it's a gathering place for various druids within the forest, like druid communities. And like the representatives of the druid circles, like the scattered druids and rangers and so on, they gather at the Black Oaks. In the past, Baz spoke very poorly of them, and he had mentioned that he was part of the circle at one point, but he left. Before he found you, in his younger years.
I think when I go back to the camp, I would say before going to bed, I think I know where we can start with the search for. Well, I know exactly where to go for Baz, but maybe the search for finding some answers as to how we can fix this, maybe.
Okay. Okie dokie. Anyone else? No?
I would like to check on Emily.
Yeah,
How she's doing.
she long finished her leg of pork or whatever it was she was eating, her chicken leg, and like she's proper gnawed it down to the bone, like she's got everything off this leg, and yeah, like all the grown-ups are talking. You notice her staring at the flames of the campfire with a relatively deadpan 1,000-yard stare on her face.
Hey, kiddo. Penny for your thoughts? Wait, no. What would be the equivalent of penny?
Copper.
Copper for your thoughts?
Thumb.
Thumb for your thoughts. She thinks about it. She's silent and she just looks at the fire and I don't understand why everyone's so scared of it. I mean,
Scared of.
she points at the fire. It keeps us warm. We need it to cook chicken legs. Everyone's scared of it, but I'm okay.
I don't think it's the fire itself that people are afraid of. It's more situations when you have no control over it. If you think about it, it's not everything, pretty much all of our phobia, everything that you're afraid of, all of our phobias are not about the object itself. It's that feeling of helplessness.
She frowns. But if something bad happens, then you just get brought back to life. So what does it matter?
Sometimes it's not that easy. We got lucky. But do you remember how this whole adventure started? Do you remember the girl who was not brought back?
She thinks about it, I suppose. But maybe no one loved her.
It's not a question of love. It's a question of luck and timing.
Well, I'm very lucky, so...
You are very lucky, but Emily, I need you to understand that the reason why I have been a bit weird, because I don't know if we can bring you back again. And the idea that you can be gone just like that, it is very scary. And you know, I am not a cleric. I can't bring you back. I need to rely on other people to help me with this. I need you to remember that this life you have is the only one you have. And I want you to be happy and I want you to enjoy yourself, but I also want you to be careful.
And she stops for a moment. Who would bring you back?
I don't know, Emily. But I think I have a very good track record of not going down to begin with.
She nods. Well, maybe you're lucky just like me.
Maybe. Or maybe it's all the practice, which I'm sure you have not been neglecting while I was away.
She looks at her crossbow. She shakes her head. Magnus said I wasn't allowed to shoot this in the camp.
Well, maybe what we need to focus on is being stealthier so Magnus doesn't know.
She thinks about it, and then there's this devilish smile that spreads across her face. I like this plan.
I thought you might.
Okay, and with that, she lets out a big... I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
Good night, kiddo.
And she disappears into a tent. And with that, you may all experience the benefits of a long rest.
Great.
Hey.
Hooray. With that, yeah, everyone finishes their long rest, and
Sweet.
you start to hear the sounds of the camp starting to come to life. Who's going to be the first to arise? Balthazar. I suppose. So Balthazar.
Does not.
Yeah, as you kind of lurch upright and kind of begin to focus on the world a bit, you start to see the other warhounds slowly. Well, all the warhounds bar Catcher start to emerge from their tents. You hear some angry voices coming from Catcher's tent as she demands 5 more minutes.
It's a groggier 5 more minutes than it normally is.
Yes, yeah. You've noticed that.
Release the drool.
You've noticed that Drool. Yeah, Drool has come back. He looks happy as punch. He's got a leg bone laying on the ground next to him that's been half chewed. And yeah, everyone begins to emerge. As you all start your morning rounds, it is early morning. Yeah, the sun's only beginning to crest over the canopy. You can see that the Raedran soldiers are kind of busying themselves and rushing about. And Slate, you notice that the tent that 3 changelings are in, the front is open and the tent is empty.
Are they anywhere around?
Looking around, you can't see them.
And the tent, has it got anything in it?
You see that there is a scroll left on left on one of their bedrolls.
Okay.
I say scroll, it's like a parchment of paper folded up.
I'll read it.
Dear it's crossed out, Slate. We decided to head off at first light. The druids told us where we could find Barrents.
Oh no.
We're going to begin our training with him.
Oh god, I told them not to. No. I will run back to camp probably before I've even finished this, even if it's not the end, but I mean it might sound like the end. And run back and go, okay, we have a problem on our hands. I don't know who will be happy to help, but I think we need to go right now.
Help? I love helping, Badger says as she does her morning stretches. What's happening?
The changelings have gone to find Barrents and they know where he is, and well, I know where he is, but I don't.
Oh, that sounds really dangerous.
Yes, very dangerous. I don't want them to be hurt. B, don't want Barrents to be hurt. I don't think it's really the best thing that they've done that. It's they grow up so fast, don't they? Let's go. If you want to come, I'm going this way now.
Oh, okay. And Badger's gonna try and rouse whoever else she can to come with, I guess, if we're rushing off.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Just let me get my hat on. I'm coming.
Okay. Is it? I presumably everyone's. So Slate, are you just striding off?
I am pretty much striding off. I'm quite alerted by this. I'm very concerned for both the safety of the changelings and of ours.
Can Slate be convinced to hang around for the 5 minutes Katya asked for, just so that she's with us?
I think it'd probably be a case of chasing after, because it's just not chasing far. I mean, but just to get to the where it's like this is kind of
just like piggybacks on Balthazar. Just
actually, I think Hiram is going to grab Slate by the shoulder, like, give me just 1 second. Emily, go wake up Katya.
God. Oh no.
And Emily looks Emily just looks up to you and With pleasure, she says.
She cocks a crossbow and just
as you're all kind of getting yourself ready to try and catch up with Slate, you just see your squire disappear into Katya's tent, and moments later you hear this this scream come from inside the tent, and Katya flies out. Like head sticking up, disheveled, one collar out of place, and Emily follows out, dusting off her hands, and she kind of looks to you. Well, having completed it, she wanders over to her crossbow, picks it up, and kind of approaches you, Hiram, with this expectant look on her face.
Well done.
Good.
I think at the time I'd also be kind of wriggling and just being like, look, we need to get going. And then I'll be like...
Yeah. No, now we have everyone. So let's go. Let's go.
Where are we going?
we're following Slate.
I have no idea.
Badger's just going to quickly check on Wrenna. Is she still unconscious or is she awake?
Wrenna has at some point in the night turned onto her back, and like she has her arms down by her side. It's eerie seeing, like, elves normally trance, right? Badger, you've seen this. I mean, Wrenna looks dead. Like,
oh god,
she's not trance. Like, elves don't sleep. She's not trancing. She's just laying there, unconscious.
Oh my god.
Can I do a quick medicine check just to make sure she is unconscious and not dead?
Okay, she's breathing.
Okay, Badger just whispers, Wrenna, don't go anywhere, and then turns off.
Stuff like that always works.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Maybe she leaves a little note on Wrenna's chest that just says, Wrenna, don't go anywhere. Love, Bodger.
God.
Now I can see in the future she wakes up like, I can't read.
Yeah, that's tonight's elsewhere.
So as you all kind of rush off, you find Slate at the gates of Fort Lamira, struggling to get the bars off. As you approach, Slate unlocks the bar. You see some purple dragons notice and go, what are you doing? And Slate just hefts the gate open, and kind of seeing you approach, I presume Slate is off.
The minute I see them, I'll say thank you to everyone who's come. Like, I think this is going to be dangerous. I think when we get a little bit further out of here, I want to try something, but we do need to go.
Okay. The journey. So, like, Slate seems to know exactly where they're going. What flavour of Slate do we have this morning?
I think this would be a Rufus.
A Rufus job. Okay, cool. So, yeah, the journey, like I say, Slate seems to know exactly where it is you're going. And for those of you who are keeping check, it's a kind of a west-southwest direction. And how quickly are you going, Slate?
Determinedly.
Okay. So if we call it a quick pace, it's like Slate is hooning their way through the forest. It takes about 3.5 hours to journey, and thankfully nothing happens on the journey there. But soon enough, you arrive.
Before we get there, sorry.
Yes.
I'm gonna move over from the group. I'm gonna just say, I'm going to just try something, and well, I'm going to try the same thing again. I'm going to just get out the sickle, try and do something. It might be a bad idea, but I just want to see if I can do something.
So you notice that when you get the sickle out, the blood is rusted. When are you doing this on the journey? Sorry.
About, I'd say halfway there.
Halfway there. So halfway there, you get the sickle out. It looks like the same old rusted sickle as always, and yeah, it when you tentatively grab it, but nothing seems to happen. Like, if anything, as you grab it, you feel a sense, and this sense of relief. But for a moment, it almost feels like maybe it isn't your own relief.
When I am grabbing it, I'm gonna just thinking about what Katya did, and knowing that obviously it's not the same thing, but just trying to channel some of that Katya vibe and just be like, we're coming in peace. We're here to help. I'm going to look after you. Just let me help. Let us help.
Okay. So, Slate, as you drag the warhounds along, the forest becomes like more and more familiar the further you go, and before long, you find the same dips, the same ruts, the same trenches, for the same hills, the same divots, and before long, Slate stops in front of what appears to be a large mound, it almost looks like a smallish hill, with a cave entrance on it.
Cool.
The sides of this hill stretch up approximately 20 feet. You can see there are large tree trunks emerging from the tops of the hills, and the canopy is thick overhead from where you're stood. And as we zoom in slightly on this beautiful map, at the entrance,
The shadows are like really well done.
they're really well done, aren't they? Yes. This is actually a Birdie Maps map, and thank you very much, Birdie Maps, for letting us have this map. We'll do a bit of exploring in a second, but stood at the entrance to the cave is Reverence, and Reverence turns and watches you as you approach, and they shout out, Slate, I am happy that you've come.
Don't you slate me. I said specifically not to come here, and you've done completely the opposite. You're putting yourself in danger, you're putting others in danger who I care about, and...
I don't... Danger.
Where are the others?
They've gone inside.
Have you seen him?
We haven't been here long, but I don't know. I was waiting out here.
I don't know if you should come in just to help. Oh. This is dangerous.
What? And yeah, he just kind of looks. Reverence looks dumbfounded from kind of you to the cave entrance to you to the cave entrance. Clearly, they don't know what to do. And maybe I'll go get them. And he disappears into the cave.
I don't think that's a good thing. I think they're in trouble. I think we should
we go in?
Yes,
Yes?
let's all go as quick
Okay.
as possible.
Yeah,
I think. Oh, also, just as a good note, I think the beast might not be here at the moment. So
What makes you say that?
because when I was checking the knife earlier, the sickle, when the whole thing happened at Stagstead's, the sickle was bloody, and it's not bloody right now. It's kind of off. It's not activated.
This sickle is so damn creepy.
Oh yeah.
It's a fickle
Um,
sickle.
I'm sure that this has been mentioned before, but I just want to voice it again. So creepy.
Slate, what was Baz's full name?
Barrett's Treworthy.
Baz Shrubbery.
Barrett's Treeworthy.
Barrett's Treeworthy. And she closes her eyes a second, and she's like, Barrett's Treeworthy. And she casts Locate Creature.
Ooh.
Also, I just need to interject. Slate, you when was the last time you checked the sickle?
Halfway.
So like 9 miles away.
I think I'd go halfway and like open the. I would say like here's the thing. Look, it was perfectly fine, and show the bag.
Oh, you're showing the bag.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Kaya, as you say, Barrett's Treeworthy, and you focus. Slate, who are you showing the bag to?
Just everyone.
Cool. As you open the bag, Katya, your head is drawn to the cave, and Slate, you open the bag, and everyone who's looking notices that the inside of Slate's bag is slick with blood.
Gross.
Slate.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Yeah.
Look again, Slate. Look.
Oh. Okay.
Raises a finger and it points to the cave.
I think Slate would run in straight away because obviously the changes have gone in. So just run in.
Wait, Slate. Are we allowed to stab him? What's the play here?
Go, Slate, go!
Run. Yeah, I'll just run.
Okay.
Oh,
Anyone who's running, move to the cave mouth.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Someone will
dun,
just
dun,
shrug
dun.
and draw his sword and.
Oh,
Emily,
yay!
you want to wait outside?
Cool.
Amazing. Look at
Ooh.
this. This is so cool.
This is amazing.
So as you all run into the cave, cool. Pull everyone in. You see.
No. Emily's waiting outside.
Oh, okay, fine.
Do you think she tries to run in and Hiram's like, no.
No.
Yeah, literally like,
What the hell?
Guys.
hand on the forehead, like no.
So
On the side.
as you run into the cave, you notice suddenly how dark this cave is. You're stood in the light streaming in from behind you, and you can see this kind of old, decrepit-looking cave reaching out in front of you. Ahead of you is a pillar of light created by a hole in the ceiling, and stood in the beam of light, sort of like trying to peer out into the darkness. You see the bright green coat of Promise. And like hearing you like run in, like you follow on the heels of Reverence, who strides into the darkness and he shouts out into the cave.
Oh god.
Promise!
No!
Slate says it's dangerous. Us.
Oh my god.
Kids, eh?
Promise turns round and, like, from the beam of light, you could just see Promise go, Like look at you a bit confused.
I'm running immediately to Promise.
Okay.
Like immediately.
Oh, where
And
is
also
Baz? Where is
just
Baz?
being like to someone, keep him quiet.
And then chomp. Dan chomp.
And as you begin to run into the darkness, you hear a and Promise stops and slowly turns their head to look over their shoulder, and in the beam of light trickling from the ceiling, you see a shimmering shape.
Oh my god.
God.
Oh no.
That'd be ugly.
And
Oh no.
as the black scaled with red markings creature glooms up and decloaks, it releases a
Holy shit.
a echoing roar, and we'll call it there.
No!
Like a xenomorph meets a devil meets a T-Rex. It's terrifying.
I'm not going to lie. When you first made the noise, I thought it was snoring. It's like, oh, it's asleep. Okay, good night.
It was.
Oh god.
Gee. Oh gee.
Congratulations, everyone, on completing session 11.
Ooh.
No.
Wait,
Oh,
when do we start complaining about leveling up then? When does that happen?
next time, isn't
It's
it?
every week, so get
is it-
ready, everyone.
Dan?
I think it's starting,
two,
it's starting from
one.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah, done. Level 9. Level 9.
Yeah, there you go. So we can start. We can officially
10?
start the petitioning for.
You can start petitioning,
Yeah.
and I can start ignoring. Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone, for playing session 11.
This is the
Oh
way.
no.
This is the way.
I wonder what's going to happen to these beautiful alabaster-skinned babies in this beautifully crafted cave. Quick shout out, thank you to Birdie Maps for giving us these maps. The stuff they're creating is
Very
fantastic. We'll have a link down below to Birdie's stuff. By all means, reach out. Give them some likes. Sign up to their Patreon. It's all good stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you lot next week, and I'll see you lot next week.
See ya.
See you
Bye
next
bye
week.
bye bye.
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 Toodaloo. Another week, another page in the story of the Warhounds. How will Slate deal with this fearsome encounter? Can they save the changelings from the Beast of Malar? Can they save Barents? We'll find out in the next session. Thank you for watching to the end. These sessions really are a joy to run and present to you all to watch. A year ago, I wouldn't have expected to be in a position where I'm able to share our adventures with the world, and I'm really excited with the response we've already had. I wanted to give a huge shout out to Birdie Maps, who's running their own Cormyr campaign at home. Their maps are awesome, and I'm humbled that they shared them with us, and I'm thrilled to use them. A fantastic way to support Birdie Maps is by joining them over on Patreon. Their Dungeon Master tier gives you access to all of the current and legacy maps with variants, optimised to import directly into Foundry or Roll20, as well as all the assets used in the maps. Higher pledges even give you access to custom made maps for those unique visions that you have. I'll leave links to Birdie Maps addresses in the description down below. If you're interested in seeing more of our Cormyr content, you can click here for another video. It'll really help us out if you subscribe to the channel, which you can do by clicking here. We release new videos and shorts weekly. Again, thank you for watching, and as always, may the realms endure.